We begin this hour with a harrowing new account from a family after a serious incident sent 12 children to hospital from the Cultus Lake Waterpark here in British Columbia earlier this week. This afternoon, safety officers remain on the scene about 90 minutes east of downtown Vancouver. Regulators say the park will remain closed with no timeline for reopening until the owner corrects each hazard and clears a thorough safety assessment. Benit Brach joins us now live from our Abbotsford Bureau. And Benit, we'll get to the investigation in a moment, but I'd like to start with what you've been hearing from families.
Well, Ian, families, they are still shaken. They're trying to make sense of what happened. So today we spoke to one parent, Jen Brown, who says her 12-year-old son was among those, waiting in line and was injured. She said her son was transported to the hospital here in Abbotsford and then again to Vancouver to BC Children's Hospital. And have a listen to what her son told her.
His friend put his hand on the railing and started screaming. And my son thought that he might be just kind of going, like the pole's hot from the sun sort of thing. And I think he kind of went, oh, it's not that bad, and put his hand on. And he said that he couldn't get off. Like, he was held on by the electrical current and he had to make himself fall to release himself from that.
And Ian, after 2 days of IV, of hydration, of monitoring, Brown says her son has returned home today. But she says she's worried if this could cause future health complications. Overall says her son is feeling mentally well, has a good support system. And the lead investigator has told us that this incident has left victims with electrical shock and burn injuries as well, Ian.
Yeah, just think about this for a moment. It is a water park that, as you well know, very popular in the area. A middle school trip to that water park, and kids are putting their hand on a railing and get that kind of electrical shock. It makes no sense at all. And that brings us to the investigation. You got some new information this afternoon on that, Benit.
Yes, so I spoke to Technical Safety BC, and they are the lead investigator in this. And today we heard from them that this park has had multiple electrical non-compliances that have been found. So when I asked them, what does that mean? They say it could mean something to do with the work that was recently done, their equipment that wasn't on par with BC's electrical code. And so that investigation is continuing. They're saying, yes, that the park operator has to address all those hazards before it opens, and have a listen to some of those key things that they're really looking into right now.
So we are looking into both the amusement ride that was part of the incident. We are also investigating the installation history of the park's lighting systems to determine if that contributed to the hazard. We understand that a new lighting system was put in place in and around the cabanas that were near the water slide, and we're investigating whether that has a possibility of being involved.
And Ian, I have reached out to the park operator today. I haven't heard back yet, but we did hear from them on Monday, and that's when they said that an incident like this has never happened before. And I also, you mentioned school field trips, lots of students that were there. I did reach out to school districts in the Lower Mainland today to ask about upcoming field trips now that this park is closed off. And I've had a confirmation from Maple Ridge and Mission school districts, and they say that 3 field trips have been canceled. They say that the schools are saying that refunds are being processed. But overall, the root cause still trying to determine what happened there, and that investigation continues, Ian.
Yeah, well, you live in Abbotsford, grew up in the area not too far, really, relatively speaking, from this water park. Yep. So it is a place that families go to or used to go to all the time. Benit Brach, live in Abbotsford, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
In the wake of this incident, parents still have lots of questions. Here's a bit more from that parent who we just heard from about her son's condition and the questions that remain.
What went through my head was just the worst possible thing, so raced out to Abbotsford and got there, and we were in the hospital at Abbotsford for till about 8 o'clock at night, and then the decision was made to transfer him over to Children's for further observation. They were concerned about brain damage, cardiac damage. He needed a lot of IV fluids and a lot of hydration and a lot of monitoring to get those levels down enough to be discharged. And he'll need to be followed for a little bit. Like, what were the what sort of inspections were like, what was found in inspection reports, what was done about that, what kind of maintenance was done on the park.
Oh, Beneath Breach, our reporter, speaking to one of the parents of one of the children who was injured at the Cultus Lake Waterpark.